Hello and welcome to the Critically Clueless. I'm Monk, and today we are in Empire of Sin and we are continuing our boss spotlight series. In today's video, we are talking about Maggie Dyer. Now, previously, it's been mentioned that Maggie Dyer is actually the least picked boss in the game. Now, just why is that? Is she really that bad of a boss? Well, hopefully that's one of the questions we're going to be answering within this video. And if you enjoy Empire Sin content and want to see more videos just like this, don't forget to hit that like button and of course subscribe to the channel because this is the very place to be when it comes to Empire of Sin. We also have an active and growing Discord, so if you want to join the Discord, talk about Empire Sin or just any other game that you have started playing, the link will be down in the description. Now let's talk about Empire bonuses. It's a great place to start. And the first place to start would be the Tattoo Parlor. Now this happens to be the brand new perks that kind of got introduced in the last update, the precinct update. So this is all about your precinct. This is the update or the unique mod that Maggie has, which is the Tattoo Parlor, and racket income in this precinct is increased 2.5%, which actually isn't too bad considering it's boosting every single racket type that you decide to have. So unless you're just doing breweries, this is going to be increasing your income. So I quite like that. The next one is Red Lights Out. This is not too good at all, unfortunately. Brothel deflect upgrade cost is minus 20%. I don't really do brothels anyway. There's not a terrible amount of money to go. It's not the way to go. Normally it would be loan sharks or speakeasy. So this really isn't that good. The next one would be Off the Record. Speakeasy police activity is -1. That's pretty good because you're going to be wanting to have a lot of speakeasies. So police activity being slightly less if you have Maggie is definitely a good call. The last one is the Heartbreak Kid, which is faction rating loss when you break treaties or business arrangements is -50%. That's actually okay. Personally, within my own playthroughs, I don't tend to break them. They normally tend to be broken. I think the AI breaks them a lot more than the player generally does. But I can see this one being beneficial because you do get penalized quite badly for breaking those sort of things in the first place. So all in all, I think her unique Tattoo Parlor is actually pretty good. And I also think Off the Record is pretty good as well. Next up, we move on to the stats. Now, the first stat to really talk about would be the marksmanship stat, which is actually sitting pretty at 70. Now, 70 isn't the best in the game, but it's kind of good enough to warrant you using, say, a submachine gun, maybe a light machine gun, something that fires more than one bullet in general with a 70 marksmanship is good. But 70 is good enough to kind of get you through if you're using pistols and rifles and stuff like that. So it's not too bad, actually. Next up, we have the defense bonus of 0, meaning that unfortunately Maggie Dyer is slightly more spongy than most of the other bosses in the game. I think almost every boss has at least a 5 defense bonus. Maggie comes up with 0, so like I said, she's a little bit more spongier. However, the bosses do have a huge hit pool, so unless you plan on doing Lone Wolf, it really shouldn't impact your play that much. Next up, we have initiative. This is the order of battle. So the higher this number, the better. Means you're going to be higher up in that order of battle. Maggie's is only 63. This is actually very low. It's not great. And basically means you are going to be starting off low in the order of battle. There is a caveat to that though, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Movement again is 6, not a great stat, so there's 3 really bad stats there. Obviously you can't get lower than 6, 7 would be the highest you can get on a boss as well, is what it is. The next 3 is leadership, persuasion, and intimidation, and these are all about your dialogue choices in game. Maybe the upcoming events that pop up every now and again. These stats are going to be determining the outcome of these events and these dialogue options at 55-20. 45 and 55, they are pretty terrible, unfortunately. They're very bad stats, and you're probably not going to succeed when anything comes up, especially that unique event when they offer to buy one of your gangsters for $150,000. You are not going to be able to do it if you're playing Maggie Dyer, unfortunately. Next up, we have the perks, or the traits. Now, do you remember earlier when I said that her initiative is really bad at 63? Well, she also has Brave, so she gets a plus 20 initiative when she's outnumbered. Now, in this game, if you're playing to kind of make it the funnest it can be, you're going to be playing with a smaller crew, meaning 9 times out of 10, you are going to be outnumbered. So her initiative goes from 63, which is absolutely terrible, to an 83, meaning that she's high up in that battle order, should be first almost every single time, and therefore actually pretty good. And she also has thick-skinned as well, which gives us a plus 15% chance to resist crits. Now, I've spoken about it before. We also have a minus 20% chance to resist being injured. But because we're the boss, we cannot be injured, so that stat's kind of irrelevant. And then we have the build for Maggie. Now, it turns out Maggie is actually a doctor. Personally, I prefer getting or picking bosses that are doctors, because I think having a boss that's a doctor is a huge bonus within your game. So on tier 2, I would pick Lifeline. On tier 3, I would probably pick Heal, although Break Shot is a good option. Heal, though, does restore 60 HP to any given target, and is just the one I would pick if you have it available. When it comes to tier 4, we have a couple of different options, but I think Revenge is the best way to go, because it turns out that Maggie is a melee character. You automatically perform a counterattack against a character that has melee attacked you. Now, unfortunately, that's not going to happen too often, but when it comes to tier 4, it's kind of your best option. In tier 5, the only one you can ever pick, of course, is Kill Chain, when you absolutely positively have to kill every mother in the room, except no substitutes. That is a line from the movie Jackie Brown, but Kill Chain is absolutely brilliant. You fire a shot at the target. If that target dies, you get returned 1 AP. Your turn does not end. And this is where I would normally talk about the weapons that I would recommend you use for the given boss. Now, as Maggie is a melee character, her main ability is a melee attack. I would personally go for handguns and melee weapons. I think that with the way the game is currently, handguns and melee are a very good combo. It means you can fire one shot off with your handgun, follow up with a melee attack. You obviously kill multiple people per turn with this go, and I think it works really well with Maggie. There are some really good perks in melee weapons, and again, some matching ones in handguns as well. And lastly, we have Maggie's boss ability, which is Lion Tamer. So with this ability, you basically use your whip, you drag a target close to you, and then you deal out a melee attack. Now, you only punch them regardless of whatever melee weapon you have, unfortunately, but it does deal a good amount of damage. It does take, a target that's maybe in cover, out of cover, which again is pretty cool. However, you only attack one target with this ability. It's kind of one of those, it's not the worst one in the game, but I would definitely not say that it's the best one in the game. And ultimately, Maggie Dyer, is she really that bad? Well, I don't think so, no. I think she has some redeeming features. I think she has high initiative, which is quite cool. Melee is obviously very strong in this game at the moment as well. Her boss abilities are not the best, but she is also a healer, so she's kind of middle ground for me. I don't think she's as bad as she is, but can't be, changed. She is the lowest picked character in the game. But guys, that is it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, happy gaming, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video real soon.